Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. Today I am here with my Mercedes ML-Class W164 chassis vehicle, and I'm making this video because recently I had an issue with the suspension where I had a very large clunking noise on the front right hand side of the vehicle. Now I'm making this video here today because I had a couple of attempts at trying to repair this, and the first attempt wasn't successful at actually stopping that clunking noise. So I thought I would share this experience with you. So with the clunking getting progressively worse from that front suspension, I did an absolutely thorough inspection of all of the front end suspension components, ensuring all of the fasteners were correctly torqued and all of the upper and lower ball joints and all of the bushings were in good condition, which they were. So I did a little bit of research, and what was apparent in a number of the forums is that people indicated that the front sway bar torsion links can actually wear, and this can produce that clunking sound. Now I've actually experienced this. You may have seen that black ML320 on the channel. We had a clunk coming from the front suspension on that vehicle, which was a little bit mystifying, and we replaced the torsion links and that solved that vehicle's problem. So not wanting to be a parts cannon project here, I attempted to test the torsion bar links prior to replacing them. To do this, I lifted the front end of the vehicle up off of the ground, and then I used a jack and a block of wood under the front wishbone to release the tension on the torsion bar to test its firmness. As you can see in the video footage, it could be easily moved from side to side. So I went ahead and replaced both torsion bar links. However, unfortunately, it did not solve this particular issue for myself. The next thing I checked was the torsion bar mounts. I removed the mounts and inspected them. However, they showed no sign of collapse or wear, so I did not replace them. But to be certain that there was no issue with the actual whole torsion bar system, what I did was I actually undid the link ends on both sides of the vehicle, as you can see in the video here, and then I actually took the car for a test drive. Now, you need to be really careful, folks, if you actually attempt this, because you will lose your cornering performance, so you need to go really slow around corners. But what I found was that the clunking still remained. So I was able to eliminate if there was any issues at all with the torsion bar system, and my remaining focus could actually be on the front shock and all of the ball joints and bushings associated with that. So once again, I removed that front right hand wheel and I checked out all of the suspension components 100%. I checked all of the bushings, the upper and lower ball joint, all of the fasteners, and they were checked out 100%. So this led me to the conclusion that the front right hand shock absorber or strut component must be failing in this vehicle. Now, if you've watched some of my videos in the past, you might know in fact this vehicle has AIRMATIC suspension. You may have seen the video which I did where I actually replaced the airbag or air spring component of this front right hand shock absorber about 2 years ago now. Now, what I'm led to believe is that when the vehicle is stationary, when it's got the air suspension, is that the air suspension actually masks the issue with a failing shock absorber. But to test this theory, what I did was I actually raised the suspension to put more pressure in the airbag and thus taking pressure off of the suspension strut, and I took the car for a test drive. Now what I found when I took the vehicle for a test drive with the suspension in that raised position was that immediately the magnitude and the frequency of that shuddering coming through the suspension had decreased. It hadn't eliminated completely, but it certainly had decreased in its intensity. So that led me to believe that absolutely that suspension shock absorber component had failed in the front right hand side. So I went about ordering a new one and we've replaced that. So I replaced this strut with a new aftermarket unit. Link to the full video on how to do this in the description. However, it was not an overly difficult job, and I can confirm that completely the issue has been solved that I had. In fact, since replacing that strut and other suspension components, I've actually just completed a road trip where I did over 3,000 kilometers over a nearly 2-week period, and I can absolutely confidently tell you there are no front end suspension problems with this vehicle anymore. In fact, perhaps it's a figment of my imagination. However, I'd actually say that the vehicle's actually driving a lot smoother now and a lot firmer, and there's absolutely no vibrations coming through the wheel. So whilst I may not have had to have replaced those torsion bar link ends, with a vehicle that's over 150,000 kilometers now, I'm actually kind of glad. As you could see from that video, is they were actually a little bit loose. We've actually now got a suspension on this vehicle that's 100%. So in fact, having completed that road trip, what I'd like to do is just pop into the vehicle. We'll just show you the fuel economy which this vehicle is now getting. So just jumping into the vehicle, folks, just wanted to show you the fuel economy which this vehicle is actually achieving on sort of an average run. You can see this is the long-term odometer view, so 8,000 kilometers since it's been reset, and the vehicle is achieving an 8.8 litre per 100 kilometre. So as you can see from this photo which I took during the road trip, on a highway cycle, this car's actually achieving quite amazing fuel efficiency of 7.3 litres per 100 kilometres. 7.3 litres per 100 kilometres for this size of vehicle and weight is quite amazing. Now I put that down to the fact this vehicle is thoroughly maintained and serviced. So if that's something you're interested in learning about, do look to the channel for other videos and subscribe for future updates. Now on the channel you'll also feature my early Ford Falcon, I've got an Audi A3 and also a Mazda 3, and I work on all of these vehicles. So as I say, if you're interested in any of those videos, subscribe to the channel. If you have liked this video, do like the video. And until next time, have a good evening.